Okay, I want to introduce our two guests now. This is Craig Brewer, who of course wrote and directed the film, and of course Kenny Wormald, who is Ren. Oh my gosh, y'all really kind of decided to just go for it in remaking what is really an iconic pop culture feature film.
Right.
Any trepidation there?
Oh, yeah.
Just a little.
Yeah. You know, it's pretty daunting. Yeah, it's pretty scary actually. I mean, the movie means a lot to a lot of people, but luckily it meant a lot to both of us. So we kind of felt like there was a lot of different ways that Paramount originally were thinking about going with the movie before we came on board. There was kind of like more of a musical, more of kind of a dance celebration, and luckily I grew up on Footloose, and it was one of the most important movies in my life, and I just, you know, I said, let's not mess with it too much. Let's just change a couple of things, but I think that the story is relevant to today's audiences to be retold.
All right, you said last night when I saw a screening of the movie, you're 27.
Yeah.
Which means you came out the year the movie was released. I mean, you were born the year the movie was released.
We both came out in 1984. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right. All right, so
You both premiered.
Yes. Yeah.
so does it mean as much to you as it does to Craig? I mean, how did you become familiar with it?
Well, I saw it on VHS probably when I was 10 years old, and I grew up dancing, and it's not always so cool for a boy to dance, especially in Boston where I grew up. So seeing, you know, a film like that where Kevin Bacon is going wild in the warehouse and he's dancing and he looks masculine, it kind of gave me some confidence in what I was doing, because at school kids would be like, oh, ballet boy, this and that. So I was like, no, look at Kevin Bacon, man. He's cool, he's doing it right, and he's masculine. And so it was one of those films that kind of helped me stick to what I was doing, and it was a passion of mine, and I'm glad I didn't get steered off and listen to the kids at school. I got to watch films like that really did have an impact on me. I don't know if it's the same exact impact as being a 13-year-old in the theater, but I watched that film a million times, and it definitely is one of those films that I will always go back to and, you know, appreciate.
And you said it kind of has the same significance for you, but just 27 years earlier, as
Right.
far as really making you feel maybe more justified, or how would you describe it?
Well, I think that there's a special group of individuals in culture that aren't, you know, sport, you know, they're not athletic. They're usually theater, dance, and arts. And there was something about seeing Kevin in the skinny tie being like, you know, undeniably himself and an individual. And it made you just feel like you could be different and somehow be heroic. And it was just a different type of hero that we had not seen in the 80s. But now it's just different for me because I'm a parent, and now I'm older, and I'm closer to Reverend Moore. I'm more about wanting to protect my kids. And so I think that really, like, especially now in our culture, like, we do overreact to things when our heart is involved. And I felt that that was a unique time, you know, that we are living in now, to maybe use Footloose as a story to explore that. And I know people sometimes roll their eyes when I say that, because they think, well, how can you do that with that cheesy movie Footloose? But we really took it seriously, and we managed to kind of keep the right amount of cheese from the original. You know, there's some moments in there that's just undeniably, like, you know, we have the whole sequence of Let's Hear It for the Boy, where, you know, Ren is teaching Willard how to dance. And
I love that scene, by the way.
Even the most avid hater is looking at it, they're like, okay, I'm totally in. You know, I'm loving it. You know?
He's wonderful in the film.
He really is.
Yeah, Miles Teller is awesome.
Absolutely. And you all had an incredible chemistry. And I have to ask you, he's the worst dancer in the world, or is he the best dancer in the world and knows how to make it look that bad?
He's a good actor, we'll say that. He definitely can groove. He's the first one to jump up on the dance floor whenever we go out. But he's not a professional dancer, but he was great at looking terrible. Yeah.
He really was. It's worth seeing the movie
He's
just
so
for
awkward,
that.
his groove, yeah, it's awful.
Boy, I saw the movie, and so many people in the audience at last night's screening commented that they came in almost wanting to hate it.
Yeah.
Because it's a remake and it's such a classic. But they ended up really loving it. And how do you feel like that you accomplished that?
Yeah, it's weird because, you know, I've made 2 films before. I made a movie called Hustle and Flow and Black Snake Moan, and both of those movies, I kind of say a little prayer to those every morning of thanks. Like, I think they prepared me for uninformed hate. I think that a lot of people are just assuming that we made something bad, and and when they come to see it, they see that we actually came at it with a lot of love and appreciation, and they completely turn around. So for us, we know that eventually people are going to see our movie. We would like them to see it in a theater on opening night because we made this really for fans and families, for like everybody to come see it and experience this. It's really electric with an audience. I mean, with the way we've designed the sound, the music in the movie, I think is really impressive. We have new music, we have new versions of the old songs. We start the movie with Kenny Loggins' Footloose. I mean, I can't believe I made a movie in 2011 and I opened the movie with Kenny Loggins' Footloose, and it works. Like, everybody in the audience just starts, clapping and moving their heads, and it's really exciting. It really is.
You and Julianne Hough, your first feature films to kind of star and really kind of have the responsibility of the film on you.
Yeah.
How did that work, you two coming together with your great dance backgrounds, coming into this kind of leading a feature film?
Yeah, well, we both can dance, but I think it was super important for us, and obviously Craig, when he was hiring us, to make sure our acting was up to par with our dancing, because it is a dance movie, but it's not a typical dance movie like we've seen in the past decade. It's really a drama with dancing on top. So it was important for us to definitely capture the acting in every scene that we could. So it was a blast working with her.
Did it help almost both kind of being at the same point in your careers
that way? Yeah, we had each
other.
other's back, absolutely. And having Craig, support us and work with us in ways that just made it all click was wonderful. And Julianne is going to impress a lot of people with her acting. Everyone knows her from Dancing with the Stars, but she really kills this role, and we're just all very excited to, finally show the world.
Everybody really held their own. You didn't ever sense, oh my gosh, they're kind of carrying this person.
And I think that's something to remember from the original. I mean, if you went back in 1984 when I saw it, I didn't know who Kevin Bacon was. I didn't know who Sarah Jessica Parker or Chris Penn was. And I think that that's something that doesn't happen in movies so much these days. You don't get to go to a movie much and discover somebody. You don't get to go, who are these people? They're now my friends. I didn't know them before. Now they're mine. They're my stars. And I felt that way with Kevin. And that's why when I came onto the project, the first thing I said was like, you know what? I know there's been a lot of movie stars attached to this project, but I need a clean slate. I want new people. As if Footloose never existed, I want to have that same experience again. And that's the great thing that a director gets when you do a movie that's famous like Footloose. The biggest star in Footloose is Footloose. So you can actually get the people that are right for the role and not people that just maybe have like some box office behind them. Because it brings baggage and you don't get to discover somebody like I did in 1984 with Footloose.
And dancing, of course, like you said, it is a drama first, and then after that it's a dance film. But we are seeing such a resurgence in people loving dance and wanting to watch dance, whether it's Dancing with the Stars, So You Think You Can Dance, several movies, Step Up and others. Do you love that?
Absolutely, I love it. I grew up dancing, and when I was 6 and 10, and you didn't really have any of that. It would have been great for me to have that. It's a great outlet. I think the next generation of dancers is getting so exposed, and like I said, I used to get made fun of, but now it's cool for kids to dance. Yeah. So I think that switch is amazing, and it's construction workers like my dad, he knows about dance. He's like, oh, she messed up on her pirouettes, and you just like regular people.
It's because it's competition,
dance.
It's just, it's like
absolutely. So I think it's wonderful, especially for the next generation. They're going to be 10 times better than us, which is what you want.
And the question a lot of our viewers are going to be having right now, has Kevin Bacon seen the movie? Do you want him to see the movie, or what do you think?
Kevin has always been really supportive to me. As a matter of fact, one of the first phone calls I got when I got the gig was from Kevin. We had met on a couple of projects before. He's on my bucket list. I think Kevin Bacon is a tremendous actor. If anything, I think he's having like a renaissance right now. There's a lot of movies he's in right now, and I think it's even healthy for a lot of people to say, I love Kevin Bacon, how could they possibly remake the movie? Because it just reaffirms that he's still one of our American movie stars and quality actors. But he's working in Boston right now. I don't know if you know that or not. But
R.I.P.D.
Yeah, he's working in Boston, and I called him up and I said, I will show you the movie wherever you want, and he wants to see it. Is it important for us to have his endorsement? Yes, but I don't need him necessarily going out there and telling people to come see it. It's not like we need him as a marketing tool. He's always loved my other movies, and I really want his opinion, and I'm sure Kenny wants his opinion only because, We love him. How can we say it any better way than we really want to know what he thinks of it? So.
And how crazy would it be for you to sit next to him and watch it?
That would be a trip. If that ever happens, that'd be wonderful. Like I said last night, maybe we do a little cheers, a little. There we go.
Now, the picture, the get is the two Wrens. If we can get a picture of you two together, that would be pretty incredible.